we are recording, and we are live on Twitter. Welcome to episode 20, a very special Sunday night episode 20 of the RINO podcast. Patreon.com/RINOpod. Patreon.com/RINOpod. Check it out. Come join us on the Patreon. It's only $1 a month, the low price of $1 a month. Kaitlin, how are you this fine Sunday evening?
I am doing good, Jeff. I've had a very busy weekend this weekend because I obviously work in aquatics for one of my jobs, and we're just getting the pool ready. So super tired doing that.
I opened my pool this weekend. No, I'm sorry. On Monday, I technically opened it. It was black.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I have a lot of trees around my yard, and we got a new puppy who ran across it all winter and spring, so probably got all the dirt into it. Had new filter cartridges, filtered it out, got it, like, it's only a little bit cloudy, so I think I have to shock it one more time. A saltwater pool, but I think I need a shock, a little bit of shock, and we should be ready for business. But I let my daughter swim in it today because it was 90 degrees and only a little cloudy. But those little string bean seeds are falling in and clogging up the filter.
Yeah. I mean, if you chlorine in it and you feel like it's fine, then it's okay.
Yeah, no. If anything, it's just diluted. You know, there's not a lot of gunk and chemicals. But it's a little after 8 p.m. It's still light out.
I know.
The earth is tilted. It's great.
It was like 90 degrees today.
Oh,
I was burning.
It's great. It was great. I love summer. It's already summer. Summer begins next weekend. But it's already started. Oh, God, it's my favorite time of year. I'm going to listen to yacht rock radio and sit in my pool and drink a tasty beverage and fry my pink skin. That's the way it's got to be. But more importantly, the children. Let's talk about the children.
The teens.
As many politicos read this week in the New York Times, the children are our future, especially in Massachusetts. Kaitlin, why don't you give the fine people of Twitterland right now who are getting this live and our loyal subscribers the lowdown of why the children are the future?
Well, the Dems have it good, right? They've got a lot of teenage activists that want to prop up the Democratic Party and what they believe in. Specifically what they believe in, and trying to push the Democratic Party to the extreme progressive left. And they are very active online. I am not going to name any names, but they are very pushy.
We should inform the audience. We had a whole discussion before this of how deep we should go into this episode about what we should say about that article, given that, like, I mean, they're teenagers, right? So they know what they're doing, but they also don't know what they're doing. And
they know.
Do we really want to pick a fight? We'd be picking the fight, right? I guess we'd be picking the fight.
They know what they're doing enough to push around the adults in the Democratic Party apparatus.
It's fascinating. Well, this is interesting. So some of them were canceling people. You think that's a fair phrase for what they were trying to
do? They were directly using terminology meant to malign someone else, and that may not be true. So yes.
Right. Slander, or is that libel? Which is written? Slander? Libel's written.
Right, libel's written. I think slander is spoken.
Yeah, so they were slandering. Yeah, so they were slandering people unjustly because they're teenagers and they don't know any better. And that was the gist of the article. They were just viciously going after anybody who wasn't a complete progressive. And Ed Markey has co-opted these youngsters.
The Markeyverse.
Good.
I didn't even know that existed. What is that? Markeyverse. Sounds like
Ed Markey
is an army of teens.
Is the worst.
He's an army of teens.
It must be. Here's where I think it coincides. Here's why I think it probably caught a little bit of fire, right? Joe Kennedy's a rich kid, trust fund baby.
Yes.
So these kids are so indoctrinated with, like, absolute hatred of the rich, and especially inherited rich, right? You can debate Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a self-made man, etc. But the rich that got their money from great granddad or granddad, forget about it. That is like the ultimate in you think they're gonna let them call the shots? No way. No way. So this was like, this opened the door. So that, like, it didn't matter that Ed Markey, I think, was just an avatar that represented Kennedy's trying to come in. No way. We're not going to let their spoiled rich kid get in this race. And then Markey could naturally tack to the left and fit right in, even though he's an old baby booming fool
who hates roller coasters, and they also got mad at him because he gave like a pretty legit statement on the Israel-Gaza situation. So
and
they went him. I was kind of.
He walked it back too.
That's right. He walked it back
because of
the Markeyverse. God, I'm going to use that from now on. Like, that's just such an interesting term.
It's a dimension I don't want to live in.
No. Well, Massachusetts is kind of Markeyverse, right? And we have to be here.
Oh, God, no. Massachusetts is not Markeyverse. Ed Markey does not have that much pull. Ed Markey exists. That's it. That's what Ed Markey does. He's there. He's a placeholder. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't get anything done at all.
Well, we agree with that, right? But he does represent us in the Senate we hate him, but he does. And it's awful and embarrassing.
You think Liz Warren or Ed Markey has more pull at this point?
I don't think either of them truly have any pull.
Yeah.
I think Liz Warren lost like all prominence. Like, I rarely hear from her now.
Completely. It's fascinating because there was always the topic of her being selected for some sort of cabinet position, Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of whatever, Interior or Education.
And Massachusetts Dems are just like so afraid of like a special. Since Scott Brown, they're so afraid of like a special that they will not.
And they should be, because topic number 3 would be why because it would happen and we'd win. We would win. But we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, no, she's lost a lot of prominence. I mean, and also though, it wasn't even necessarily the special they were afraid of. If they nominated her for any position in a 50-50 Senate, it's like, why bother having that fight? There was no way the Republicans were going to roll over and they were going to fight tooth and nail to not get her appointed to anything. And
well, yeah, she's like awful. Like, the way that she behaves is just like completely atrocious on like a regular basis.
But nobody ever talks about Ed Markey.
Who hates roller coasters.
Yeah. So
I hope our audience knows that. Ed Markey really hates roller coasters and really wants to regulate them really hardcore.
Explain to the audience who may not know about Ed Markey's fascination with the roller coaster industry.
Right. So he wants to over-regulate roller coasters past to what the safety and like building regulations that they currently have for no reason. Like, really no reason. Like, no one knows why. He's never explained, but it's been a point, even when he was like on Massachusetts state level, that he really, really, really hates roller coasters.
Roller coasters are perfectly regulated.
Yeah, they are. They're fine.
Perfect. Any regulation out there for roller coasters is just fine.
Yeah.
Enforcement of the regulation who knows? The local carnies may be, flouting the law, but the law and the regulations are probably just A-okay. But yeah, he's a do nothing. The Green New Deal is going nowhere. He's always been
thank God,
a climate freak, but he's never been able to get anything done. But back to wrapping this up with the children being our future. What did you think? I have my thoughts. We went back and forth of whether we wanted to talk about it because they are teenagers and they definitely know what they're doing, but they are being used. There's this worshiping of youth, right? They are being used by the left. There's this worshiping of youth, of trying to activate them to be activists. I'll get to.
They never vote, so that's really funny.
they can't vote yet. But when I was helping to run the Young Republicans a few years back, I was invited to this organization called Generation Citizen. And they had to invite us because they had to appear to be nonpartisan. But it's definitely a left-wing Democrat-run organization. They invited us, and I sat around a bunch of tables in a square, and we were on the outside. And the dreadlocked young man at the front who was facilitating the conversation was really earnest about how do we get our young people involved in, I don't want to say politics, but in getting involved about civics. I think that was the term they used, it kind of an out with that. I'm like, and I didn't even say anything this whole time because I was like, all right, I know what this is, but I'm going to remember this because this is something right here. They're doing something. And there were professors there. There were public school administrators there. This is this is the thing. And they didn't think any Republicans were going to show up, but I kind of quietly sat, and they were game planning on how to engage and activate all these young people. And the New York Times article made it seem like it was this spontaneous thing, but this has been being cultivated for a long time to get teenagers to be politically active in order to move left-wing causes forward. You look at, Greta Thunberg, this worshiping of youth. Ayanna Pressley wants to allow 16-year-olds to vote. They're not considered legal adults in any capacity. But this is a movement. It's just the Times article made it seem like it was this glorious natural occurrence, but it is not that. It is not that. These kids are being pushed, definitely, and they're being pushed, and they're being celebrated for it. But I don't think the Democrats realize they're not being taken seriously when they do this. Nobody takes this seriously.
What, they don't take the Democratic Party seriously when they push the kids?
They don't take the teenagers, regular people within the bubble, within their Democrat progressive bubble. They take it very seriously. But on planet Earth, no one takes it seriously.
Right? Yeah, no. In the real world, that's not a thing. When I read the article, I had a different opinion. I was like, wow, game recognizes game. I mean, I use my Twitter to go after the libs. I dunk on all of their stupid takes. They do that as well. Game recognizes game. If they're using it to their benefit, that's what they're using it for. Same time, do I agree with what they're saying? Clearly not. And I think it's very ridiculous that Ed Markey's taking them seriously in the Markeyverse. But I think that's, because Ed Markey's a fool. So I think we can all see that.
I don't know how I feel about, we kind of talked about this offline, you were saying our teenagers are arguing about morality or moral issues or something like that.
Yeah, our teens just fight with each other all the time. It's just like, why don't you go after these people? Come on.
They're arguing about John Locke and libertarianism versus, I don't know, being
Common Core
being paleocon or something like that.
Cool. It's like we're all on the same team here. Okay, yeah. 99%.
But I don't know that I want our side or the kids on our side to be all uber active. They should be kids. I think it's just like enjoy your youth. I understand they've been indoctrinated with that the world's going to end in AOC, check it, 9 years now. The climate change is this existential threat that it is going to doom us all, which it's not.
I was saying this back in the back in the late 90s, and now we got AOC saying it because the Democrats needed someone hotter to say it than Al Gore. But yeah, I don't know. I think that our teens, I want you to be going after that guy. We agree on John Locke, confront these people. Come on, just a little bit.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, they live online. They all have TikTok. They all have Instagram. They all have Twitter. I see you on your phone. Just just get out the message.
I think though that these left wing youngsters that they've got involved in this, though their power is limited, and it's limited only within the Democratic Party. I don't see that crossover. Like I just, you know,
they give him power. I mean,
yeah.
Ed Markey takes what they say seriously.
Right.
He listens to teenagers. Like, that should be concerning on some level.
Concerning, not unsurprising.
Yes.
All right. The children are the future. Good luck to them all. I'm sure they'll have find careers in activism and be very productive members of society. Topic number 2, the January 6th Commission. I'd like to say right now that everybody who's been involved with that riot at the Capitol has been arrested and will face charges.
Yeah.
We know who did it.
Yes.
We know why they did it.
Yes.
We know who talked about it beforehand.
Yes.
We know a whole hell of a lot. So Steve Hayes, who has apparently a ton of unanswered questions. No, Steve, you don't. This is purely political. I'm going to bite my tongue. You can take over because I'm going to say some mean things.
Take over. I am against. Okay. So, like, the thing is like, again, we talked about it. The people were arrested. We know who was at fault. It's being investigated by like 10 other agencies. They're investigating this. Okay. We need to let them investigate it. So what does Nancy Pelosi want to do? Create a commission that apparently will be fair, of people who are not in Congress, because thank God, because we can't have Eric Swalwell, just being an idiot all over the place, more than he already is.
Right.
And they're going to investigate. My point is with this is why is it is necessary, because we already have this being investigated by other federal agencies. And we would be receiving an IG report after that investigation is over by those federal agencies. And again, we have people being arrested right now. I just don't see the point of it.
Well, the point of it is political. It's kind of like, thank God this is the first week out of the past month, we're not talking about Liz Cheney, but essentially that's the reason why. There's this fight for control of the Republican Party, and the old guard, new guard, I don't know, like the Trump break, however it is. And it's clear now, and it's unfortunate that Steve Hayes, well, definitely David French and Jonah Goldberg have gotten marching orders to push.
Andrew McCarthy came out against it.
Well, he's still at NRO, though. He's still at NRO, right? National Review, Andrew McCarthy?
Yeah, but he's one of my favorite commentators.
He's always been, though, Trump supportive when Trump was right, and always been by the book, by the
Well, when Trump was did things that were conservative, then it was fine. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, you take the balls with the strikes. It's not all end all be all political Calvinism all the time. Like, That's what it is. In this case, you're wanting a supplemental commission because of why? Like, this is, and my big thing on this today was the comparison to 9/11. That's where I'm going to draw the line in the sand and say that you're being ridiculous.
That was George Will.
Yes.
George Will people who compare it to 9/11 are fools. I mean, it's just, I do know why they're doing what they're doing, but what they're doing is so disappointing for the people, because I know they're smart enough to know better, and they're still doing it anyway. Steve Hayes knows why he's pushing for this. Are you going to tell me there's seriously unanswered questions? There's been 500 arrests. We know what Trump said before it. Trump lied for 2 months and had a bunch of retards at the Capitol and told them to go, tell Mike Pence to overturn the election. Like, that's what happened. We know what happened. 500 people got arrested. They should, the ones that were smashing things should have definitely been shot on sight for doing it on the Capitol. and the rest of them were complete retards who stole podiums and put their feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. That's not an insurrection. That's not an insurrection. That's a riot. It's stupidity. They're going to pay the price for it.
Yeah.
Tell me the unanswered questions. Because
the lack
they're
of
making them up.
on this has been astounding. The political nature of this commission has been obvious from the beginning, and that's what I kind of am not. I'm not up for that. No matter what, I'm sorry. If you're for this commission, you're playing politics. Like it's just a bottom line.
What's fascinating to me is they can't see how they're going to lose this one.
Yeah,
and they can't see.
They've been doing that for 20 years, right? Like they'll kind of sort of set themselves up. Oh, I'm going to be like goodwill towards the left. And then the left just kicks them in the balls. Like that's what they do.
But in the past year for sure, but the past 5 years, longer than that, they should have learned. And if they haven't learned, they're learning now. They are going to relegate themselves to irrelevance. Yeah. Because no one's going to listen to them. I mean, they're going really to lose. Then the January 6th commission will not happen.
I mean, Mitch McConnell's already been like, no, I'm sorry, we're not doing this.
It's not going to happen. And
I mean, the thing about it also that comes out of it is that they're acknowledging that they went through a rushed impeachment process, justifying my concern, saying that this is a rushed process and you all are doing this based on emotion alone. You are not fact-finding. You are just going through this process. So you are weakening impeachment and what it means. Just do it. Like, it's very frustrating. They just very much have just completely said that they just didn't care about that process at all. So I am concerned all around. It hopefully will not happen. Hopefully Mitch is great at the long game, holds the line.
Yeah, but there's no Republicans up and down will eventually realize this. The drive on the Republican side will eventually dissipate, right? And it'll only be, and what'll happen is the people who have, as we get closer and closer to the midterms, the Dems who live in purple vulnerable districts are going to be like, no, get this out of here. And they're going to, so the vehement people who want to fight the fight that they fought last year will want to push it, and they'll want to move on. Right. And move on to bigger and better things. And the thing that I think that what's been real disappointing about the dispatch crew is they clearly want to refight the fights of the past. And not even the philosophical fights with the left. I mean the recent political fights. And they're done. They're over with. And they will constantly want to go back to it, and it's not happening. It's not going to happen. No one's going to engage in that. They're just going to ignore you.
I agree. I find what they're saying to be just nonsensical. So, yeah.
Oh, God. What a week. Can we just do a sidetrack here?
Okay.
Who was the other dude besides Josh Hawley that you think is hot?
Oh, my God. That is John Ossoff.
That's John Ossoff. That was with the glasses. I didn't recognize him with the glasses. Are you kidding? He's like a Superman. You think John Ossoff is attractive?
I'm sending you the picture now.
I get it. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop recording right now.
Oh my God.
And unfriend you. That is so ridiculous.
Jeff, put the picture on the screen. I sent it to our DMs.
Hang on.
I regret nothing, FYI. Everybody, you should know now. I regret nothing.
Oh, God. All right. Everybody at home is looking at this pajama boy. Was it Wayfarers? What are those called with their hat, the horned rim glasses?
Yeah, no.
And his stupid floppy hair.
He looks attractive there. I like tall dudes. My husband's a tall dude. Like, he looks hot.
I want to. No, let me tell you who is handsome beefcake.
Okay,
you should be sweating. It's Dan Crenshaw.
Okay, Dan
Crenshaw is goddamn. He's Captain America, And this little putz, this pajama boy, how can you even? I'm losing so much respect for you in the moment that
Oh
this
my
guy,
God.
John
Yes.
Ossoff, oh God. And
Oh my.
Josh Hawley looks like a cross between like a game show host, televangelist, used car salesman. I mean, that is Hawley. He's
Okay.
just
Okay. So
Branson, Missouri smooth. That's what he is.
still hot. I still think that he is attractive.
Oh God, I'm so disappointed in you, Kaitlin.
Oh my God, Jeff. No, he Asaf looks great there. Holly looks good. Like they're both hot.
Ugh. Oh,
I
did
like
you?
John Thune too. I John Thune as well. I mean, Dan Crenshaw. He's hot. Have you seen that video of him like throwing the axes?
Thune or Crenshaw?
Crenshaw.
No, I have not, and I'm not going to
Have you
play it.
have you have you? Yeah. Have you seen those like bars where you can go like do like archery or like throw
Oh,
axes
axe
and stuff?
throwing. Yeah, yeah, they got them all over the place.
Yeah,
Here.
he
Yeah.
went to one of those and he did it and videotaped it and it was like really awesome.
All right. I'm glad you liked that at least. Oh God. For somebody with very good fashion sense, you need better taste in men. John Ossoff. Oh
I mean,
God.
Mr. Bacon is very good looking. I'm just saying that John Ossoff is too. I'm just being like looking to see me like, is he coming?
No, he is not. He is not. Oh. Oh God. Sorry. Somebody else must be watching and DMing us while we're live here. Okay. Anyway, back to topic number 3. Our old friend Ayanna Presley. All right. So let me share screen again for the audience here. Ayanna Presley.
Our good friend Ayanna Presley and what
Ayanna
she
Presley,
said.
she strongly condemns the rise in anti-Semitism and Islamophobia we're seeing across the country. I'm Ron Burgundy. Islamophobia. What? Okay. Let me say it again. Our freedom and our destinies are tied. The struggle for liberation and justice requires all of us to reject hate and division of any form.
This statement really pisses me off.
Yeah.
It really pisses me off. So in the last like week and a half since Hamas, a terrorist group, has decided to send rockets over to Israel and the Iron Dome having to intercept them, and half of the squad going off about free Palestine and saying that, you know, the Israelis are oppressors and that all of this other stuff, which I'm going to be very straightforward. When you say that kind of stuff, those groups of people are going to attack the people that they think are oppressors. And the Jewish people of the United States, and especially the ones overseas across the world, they're not oppressors. Okay. That's what their actions caused this. And so this what was it, like on Friday or Saturday, all the people of the squad, everyone in the progressive side of the Democratic House Conference, decided to put out a tweet all of a sudden saying that anti-Semitism is bad after we watched for a full week of Jewish people just getting beat up online. So
I'm going to show this. I have it bookmarked. Sorry. I'll go back to this in a second. This came out. I'm going to share screen. 1 second so you can see it too, Kaitlin. And so this is Jews are being publicly beaten in broad daylight in the streets of America and Europe. This is happening in London. We see Palestinian flags, and they're screaming, this is London, well, F the Jews and RAPE their daughters. Okay, that's nice. Here, this is Germany. A Jewish man gets kicked by what I'm assuming is a German citizen here. Broad daylight. Here we have a shoving match in Canada, Winnipeg, Palestinian flag wavers, and a guy spits on the Israeli flag and gets shoved there. This is all within the last week. That's May 20th. Broad daylight in Toronto. Fist fight and a beating between Palestinian flag wavers and a Jewish man. Big riot or big fight there.
This is Los Angeles, so this is the United States.
This is LA. This is the United States. And these guys were wearing, I forget what they call it, that checkered type flat head scarf around them, and attacking a Jewish person. More Jews are being attacked in L.A. This was a street fight. And it keeps going. Caravan of verbal abuse. I think that's L.A. This is in Germany. More of it. And this is in New York City, right?
Yeah.
That guy in the black shirt knows how to fight, though, I think. And so this is another riot. So let me tell you something. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing here. This should go for everybody out there, but if you're a Jewish person, you need to learn how, make sure you can defend yourself. You need to make sure you can defend yourself. If you're allowed to carry a gun where you are, get a gun. Get a concealed carry permit.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. I mean, it's not going to end. It's going to be caused by people like Ayanna Pressley and the squad who despise Israel, are anti-Semites, plain as day. It's terrible.
It's not even a question anymore. It's not a question. When they call the Israelis oppressors and then they try to give a proportional argument onto why Israel should not defend itself, that means that you want dead Jewish people.
Right.
That's bottom line what you're saying. Because if Israel is not able to protect itself, and Israel has real enemies that target them on a daily, minute, second basis, like Iran, who calls for Israel's annihilation on a regular basis, you're asking for dead Israelis. And it's on the sole basis that they're Jewish. Let's be real.
There are two aspects to this. So the international aspects, right? So Biden takes office, immediately reverses all the work Trump did against Iran.
Yep.
Placates the Iranians. The Iranians feel emboldened. They tell Hamas, and by the way, that's how it works. Hamas is not an independent organization. They take their marching orders from Tehran, and Tehran told them start trouble. So they started launching rockets because Biden was in office, and they could, and they knew that Trump wasn't fucking around with them, because Trump had Bibi's back, and this all happens, and they start these troubles.
Also used true deterrence with Iran. So when they took out Soleimani, that was a true deterrent, saying that if your general crosses over into a military area, he is considered in combat, and we will take him out, and that's what they did.
Boom.
I supported this decision.
They pushed the button on them, and now they have the people that placate them.
Yep.
This is what happens.
And that's one of the things that concerns me about Biden, is because Biden is currently playing lip service to them. And then after the fact, after people get upset, after you see violence on the street in the United States where Jews are getting beaten up and getting explosives thrown at them, like they did in New York City, then Biden says the statement, "Oh, we believe in Israel's right to exist. You shouldn't be violent towards the Jews." That should be your first statement, not your last statement. So that's I'm very concerned there.
Yeah, these ideas of it's not a proportional response when somebody starts a fight with you. If somebody starts a fight with you, you finish the fight.
Yeah.
You finish him, and this goes into something that the mentality of people on the left, where they go after victims of crime who defend themselves.
Yep.
They protect the criminals.
That are in Israel right now. Okay, so a lot of the Jews that are in Israel are emigrated after the Holocaust. So one of the reasons why Israel is so militant about defending itself is so they don't be annihilated again.
Mm-hmm.
So are you? I just don't get where the left really kind of can look at maybe the Holocaust and see anti-Semitism and then say their proportional argument. Like there's no proportionality to this.
But
So
they're consistent in their argument though, because you look at the left wing district attorneys that take office all across the country,
like Chesa Boudin and
or,
the sky high crimes that are happening in San Francisco right now that he's refusing to bring to court. Yeah.
Like that. They want to protect the goal is to destabilize the system, and you destabilize the system by letting criminals go free.
Yeah.
And have people who are the victims who have crimes committed upon them, they're not able to defend themselves. So
Right.
you have more and more power. You ask for more and more power of the state to do that. But at the same time, if you're not allowed to defend yourself, which is your God-given right to defend yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
If you are not allowed to do that, then you become more of a victim and ask for more of, I guess, the state to take over more
right. You're very dependent.
You become dependent. So it's a two-part tactic, and it's obvious. So and the consistent part is that the victim is in the wrong, according to those on the left.
Right.
And let me say it again: learn to fight. Learn to fight. I mean that, like, lift weights, learn to fight, get a gun. It is defend yourself.
I took a self-defense class in college. I obviously know how to shoot a gun. Won't go any further than that. So yeah, if someone tries to mess with me, probably not a good idea on their end.
Yeah, it would be bad for all those involved. Well, definitely sending prayers out to our Jewish friends, and hope they stay safe in these dangerous times.
It's very concerning time. We want you to be safe. We got your back. We support you.
And hopefully enough people wake up. More and more people are. All right, we're going to switch over to Patreon. Patreon.com/RINOPod. Patreon.com/RINOPod. Subscribe, only $1 a month. And you'll get the second half of these episodes that we're happy to bring to you. We always appreciate our loyal subscribers. And tweet at us. Let us know what you think. And, well, I guess we'll be talking to you next week, right?
Yeah.
All right. Until then, sayonara. Bye-bye. Shalom.
Bye.
Arrivederci. Bye-bye.